Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. The LG C2 OLED is here, and the only reason I even picked this up was because of all of you watching. On my Xbox Series X review video, so many of you recommended to me to snag the LG C1 OLED over and over and over and over. So naturally I decided to try it, except I didn't, and the LG C2 came out, so that's what we'll be looking at today. Now, this 55-inch model comes in just shy of 2,400 Canadian dollars, or just under 1,900 US, so it's definitely not cheap, so hopefully it lives up to its price tag. I mean, you all told me it would, so I have to believe you, right? It is feature-packed, supporting HDMI 2.1, 4K gaming at 120Hz, variable refresh rate, and more. This will be the first of a couple videos with my experience with this TV. I figured I could dive a little deeper by breaking it up, but today's video will take you through my unboxing, the setup, the UI, and a little bit of gaming, finishing off with my overall first impressions. So let's get into it. Okay, so unboxing tech is always a treat and never gets old. This is no exception. The TV is packed really well, and the box showcases your display size and a summary of the features, but inside is what really matters. Getting into it, you've got the remote and accessories bundle, the back plate, the TV itself of course, and the base. And that's it. I always recommend holding on to the original box if you have space, especially if there's an issue or if you have to exchange or return it. So setup didn't take too long, but I did read the instructions just to make sure I was setting up the base correctly. You really don't want to mess up something this expensive. And of course, I'd recommend lifting this with two people. Don't be like me and one-man it if you don't have to. After a quick wipe down of my old TV area, I plugged in all my systems. I'll be mainly using my PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X for gaming, as well as my Google TV 4K for media consumption. Getting set up on the TV was actually one of the fastest setups I've ever gone through. It didn't really force any updates off the bat, which was pretty nice, and as with any TV setup though, you will connect to Wi-Fi and just get rolling. This TV does prompt you to log in to LG if you want, as well as loading up some of the popular apps from the get-go. You'll also get to set your preferred sound and image preferences. I will say, unless I did it wrong, the AI sound profile made everything sound absolutely awful. This is the Canadian model I've set up, and the specs are on screen. So as mentioned, mine is the 55-inch model, but they do come in other sizes: 42, 48, 55, 65, 75, and 83. I don't think there was a 42-inch C1 model, so that's a welcome addition for anyone looking to use this as a monitor. I do think 55 is the lowest I'd go for gaming or living room setups though. I think 65-inch would be the perfect sweet spot, but obviously the bigger you go, the bigger the price tag. But taking a look at the actual design of this TV, it really is beautiful. It's wild to see how thin these TVs are getting now, and you've definitely got to be careful with this panel. The base is solid, although a little small. It is centered, so the TV does rock a bit. I think I prefer a wider base. The back end feels like a fabric material, but it's actually a layered metal. This I love. On the back end too, there's not much to it. You've just got some basic LG OLED branding and 300 by 200 VESA holes for wall mounting. The thing I love most about these new TVs coming out as well is they all include some sort of solution for cable management. These clips hook into the back grille to feed cables through the back plate and down this cable channel, which is definitely a nice touch. But one downside is the power cable is not removable, so if this gets damaged or a pet chews through it, you've got yourself an expensive repair or an expensive brick. In terms of ports, you've actually got quite a bit. There's 3 USB ports which will support playback and even HDR playback. These USB ports though don't offer enough power delivery for things like my Google TV 4K, if that is something you're considering. You've got a LAN port for wired connection, IR input, cable in if you need it, and an optical port. And of course the 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, which in and out of itself is amazing. A lot of TVs and monitors come with only 2, so this is a huge plus. On my TCL R646 I reviewed a while back, it only has 2 HDMI 2.1 ports. And if you have eARC supported devices like my Google TV or a soundbar, that usually takes up a slot. But as a console gamer with this TV, you'll have plenty of ports to spare. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of OLED displays. I knew I liked OLED from using OLED smartphones, but I wasn't expecting to see such a big difference compared to my TCL R646. OLED displays allow each pixel to turn on and off as needed, which gives you the darkest blacks on a display and the most vibrant colors, and it's truly epic. And for this TV, especially when hopping into games, it's super noticeable. Colors really do pop. In terms of reflections though, it will be an ongoing battle with any display with a glossy coating, but even in my living room sitting right next to a TV, I'm not having that big of an issue. I did crank the brightness up to 100 though. Now, I will save my full gaming experience for my full review, but from the get-go, this TV is absolutely incredible. Honestly, I'm not sure if it's a placebo effect, but I popped off more than normal on Call of Duty, but let me know down in the comments, what game would you play first on this TV? I'd say my time is split pretty well between the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, but both of these new gen systems pair incredibly well with this TV, and in the short time I've spent gaming, I can see why the LG C1 series was so popular. Games just look absolutely amazing. As well, this TV released pretty close to PlayStation 5's VRR update, which I was able to test in PlayStation 5's Spider-Man exclusive, and it's been a treat revisiting games you wouldn't previously have high refresh on. The gaming menu and overlay makes it super easy to check your current FPS and swap between different image profiles as well, depending on what sort of game you're playing. I'll dive deeper into that in my full review. When it comes to the UI as well, WebOS has come such a long way, but I don't quite think it's there yet, especially compared to the gaming systems or dedicated TV solution like Apple TV, Roku, or Google TV. But compared to my old 42-inch 4K TV, the experience overall is still way better. I think in the long run, I'll probably still end up using my Google TV dongle, primarily for the voice commands, but for the next while, I think I'll just use the built-in WebOS UI to get a better feel for how this TV functions. For my unit specifically, I did notice there were some ads on the homepage right out of box, but there were some settings to turn this off. Hopefully that's not the case for every single unit. But for a $2,300 TV, there should be absolutely zero ads. The UI overall is fine and it definitely gets the job done, so you won't really need any other dongles like me, but that's just my preference. Let's touch on the remote real quick. I really don't like it, to be honest. It is rather big. I personally prefer smaller remotes with less buttons overall. The magic tracking is pretty cool, but I'd rather just use buttons to navigate. I might get quicker with the cursor in time, but for now it does feel a little bit gimmicky. Overall, I'm super stoked to spend a little bit more time with this TV. Over the next week, I'm definitely going to dive into some more gaming and watching different types of content. Let me know in the comments, would you be using this for gaming or content consumption? The C1 was so popular, but I never got to try it, so hopefully this one lives up to the same hype. I will have my full review soon, and I might even try to compare this to my TCL R646, which is literally less than half the price. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Till next time.